So I got into law. And by third year, I realized that, okay, this is not what I want to do. Spent about 2 to 2.5 years just understanding how businesses work. And when you're not earning and when you're paying everything from pocket, like taking loans and borrowing money, I think that phase is something that really, really connects me to a lot of people today.
All right, welcome everyone here to today's yet important, interesting session. And today we have somebody truly, truly special, somebody that I'm really fond of, great friend, and of course, now who's been able to do some brilliant work as the founder of Searchy, that I'm sure that most of you have been hearing about the same. Also, the chairman with White Beetle Chain of Schools and done a whole lot of automation consulting and training thereby. And today, we've been able to get some time to make sure that we're really able to find out the insights from his life and be able to apply that. How does it join to our life and be able to get those takeaways as well? So, welcoming you, Karthik Naidu, and thank you so much for being a part of this series today.
So thank you so much, Gopika, for having me here. And I want to thank each and everyone who watching this particular video and interview so that we're going to go to something very, very special. This has no plans. It's just that we're going to go with the flow. And I must mention, Gopika, I've always admired your communication, which is so flawless, which a lot of people like really, really admire for that. So I think that will be a very big takeaway for all the viewers who are watching this. I think you should keep an eye on that.
Thank you so much, Karthik. I think that's just kind words flowing in from one coach to another. And of course, speaking from the same industry. So let's get started to really find out the insights. So today, the person behind Searchy.in, who is the founder, and I might as well want to mention this to everyone. He's a young founder. Not only that, Searchy, which has now been, initiated in 2023, and it's almost, about 6 months into the line as well, but he started across his career early, right after the way that, when he graduated from the University of Law. So we'd really like to find out that what are those shares of struggles that you had to face, Karthik, right in the beginning? You come from Law University, and that's something very different. And today, when we're talking about Searchy, this entire journey over the last 15 years, seems like that you've traveled and you've been able to explore a lot of different areas. So let's get to find out right from the beginning. So 2009 is when we know that you have been able to pass out from your bachelor's. And soon after, you were able to create and become the chairman of Bite Metal Chain of Schools. So how did that happen, first of all?
Absolutely. You just took me back to the college, which is definitely the most loved phase of my life. And I must say that while I got into the law, it was not by choice. So my mom is an advocate, so she always wanted me to be an advocate. Okay, and she wanted me to get into the documentation and get into deep into practicing and registrations and documentation. So I didn't have any idea after second PU it was a 5 year course. So I got into law, and by third year I realized that okay, this is not what I want to do. Okay, and I was half the way, and definitely I cannot quit. So I had to complete it. So I finished my 5 years successfully. I came out of law, but honestly, I've never attended even a single day in the court. Okay, I could be be the law graduate who's never stepped into the court to even like even for moot courts I've not been there, but I've cleared all my law and then finally enrolled into the bar council also, so officially an advocate, which I can proudly say. But once I realized that okay, this is not what I want, honestly, I had no clue what I wanted to do. A lot of people might be surprised after finishing my graduation. I had no clue which direction I wanted to go. I knew that I wanted to do some business. And I think thanks to that time, because I took about 2 to 3 years, Gopika, to understand about every single business industry where I wanted to get in.
So how did it really start? I mean, which was the first direction that you were getting pulled towards?
The first business I wanted to start was a courier business.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of them do not know. It's a completely conventional way of doing business because I stayed in a location in Bangalore where there were a lot of courier businesses around. So I wanted to understand that how does this business work? So I went in, I met somebody there, and they told me that they were offering a franchise of that courier. So I went, understood a lot about it. Then I realized, okay, this is not what I want to do. Then I jumped into restaurants. I said like, okay, I need to open a hotel. I think that's the best thing anybody can do. I went into a hotel. I started like inquiring about McDonald's franchise to KFC to everything, Subway, finding out places in the mall, and that didn't happen. And third, I started looking at starting an ice cream franchise brand where I wanted to start, but I could not know it. And I went similar way to multiple businesses, understanding their business models and how to do it. And I was literally like connecting with more than 8 to 10 different industries. Spent about 2 to 2.5 years just understanding how businesses work and business models work. And if somebody hears me talking about any industry so flawlessly, thanks to that 2.5 years, because these are the knowledge that I acquired by talking to businesses so that I could start one of them. So I
So
think that was the
eight different
yeah.
businesses over 2.5 years. So you practically spent almost just about 4 months understanding each of those categories. But what I really find interesting here is, Karthik, that real itching that you feel that I need to have a business of my own right from the
Right.
beginning. That was an inkling, and that was something that I can hear it, right in the beginning of this interaction. That means that it was right there. It wasn't like that it happened by chance today that, we being able to see you in the position of a founder. You've done it in the past, and that's exactly what you've been wanting to do right from the beginning. Interesting. So we'd like to hear it further as well.
Absolutely, because very good point what you touched upon. Because I never had this thought of working in a job. Never, in the sense I've never drawn a salary in my entire life. Okay, apart from my company shares or what I make profit, I've never taken a salary from anyone. So I don't even know how it feels like to get comfortable with a salary or have a steady income. So it was always like, I need to get into this and make it, I need to make this happen. So I think when you don't have multiple options and you want to start a business, I think that's probably will drive you towards it very quicker. And
Correct.
after that 1 or 2 years, that's when I zeroed down upon education. Because honestly, I want to share this one thing. When I finished law, I never liked studying, honestly. Okay, so I finished, I came home and I told my mom, I'm done with 5 years of law, final exam done. I put my books on the bed and told this will be the last day I'll be touching books in my life to study. And
and
eventually, two
and that's
years
exactly
later,
what happened.
2 years later, I got into education. I started a school, and then the journey began. And today, every single day, I learn, I teach, and we run schools. We have multiple branches. So I think the journey somewhere, that journey has been beautiful. And I'm so glad that I got into education because I truly, truly have that love and passion towards like teaching, connecting with educators. And I'm so glad I choose this industry in that way.
I always say this, and I've heard this also many a times. Never say never so much that it actually revolves back and returns back to your own life. And so, it's like the no factor that also happened along with you as well, because you got into the space of education in itself. Now, that was ironic. So, you started across with something which was very different, which was white petals. And
Right.
what was the real mission of, having this entire setup?
So this was in 2014 is where I got started. It was a franchise preschool when I got started. So I took over a school which was running. Okay, didn't have a very good experience in 2014, 15, 16 because nothing worked in the 3 years. So we had very less students. We just had 4 in first year, 8 in second year, and 13 in third year. So technically, I used to like invest every month to pay salaries and run the entire preschool. That's when I realized the most amongst my life of not having money. And when you're not earning and when you're paying everything from pocket, like taking loans and borrowing money, I think that phase is something that really, really connects me to a lot of people today in the business world. If somebody tells me I'm just getting started, I'm struggling right now, I can easily connect with them because those are the days, the 3 years where I really understood that it's not easy to do it. And those 3 years is where I started planning that how about me building an education institution that really gives value for money because it's the most important for a parent. They really work hard.
Mm.
They no matter what they spend on, but they pay the fee on time for schools. And that's the day I said that when I start the school, I'm going to make it so amazing for parents that they pay that fee and say thank you to us.
Wow.
That was the moment I said our fees are never going to be high. And even till date, like any of our branches, we are very rightly priced, and we have the lot of parents who really say that they love White Petals as a brand. So I
Mm.
think that mission and goal at that point was through the experience of that 3 years. I think
Wow.
that's what started White Petals.
And then from white petals, you went into, a space of, automation and coaching,
Right.
right? Now, how did this shift happen? So you were becoming more of, a technology centric guy. I
Right.
mean, this shift, would you like to join dots that what was instrumental in this really?
Absolutely. One thing what I understood, Gopika, I tried to understand why it did not work in 2014, 15, 16.
Hmm.
Okay, so when I saw in about 2015 and 16, I understood that I was actually sitting inside my office in school and expecting parents to walk in.
Ah, see, that's where it's coming from.
This is where a lot of businesses are doing this. It is
Correct.
like a gamble, it's not a business. You're sitting and waiting for your customers to
Yeah,
walk into your door is just a gamble. It's like
correct.
just expecting people to come in. It won't happen. So I realized it later, and I
Yeah.
started implementing in 2016 the boost post at that time in Facebook, which a lot of
Mhm.
business owners did. So once I started boosting 2 kilometers around the school, we started getting inquiries. And that's when in 2017 I started my own school. The first year we got 30 students, which was a break even.
Hmm.
So the first ever time I was driving to the office where I knew that I'm not going to put money to run the business.
Wow, that was
Uh,
in 2017.
2017.
So
I can
it's
tell you,
almost been almost about 6 years, right? That you've been trying
yes.
to get your hands on it.
Absolutely. It's taken like 3 years for me to even to have the feeling that I'm going to a place where I don't have to put money from my pocket. And from 2017, when we started, it was 30. And I started going little deeper into it to understand how can I market it better. And the marketing element came from that time. How can we distribute flyers? How can we innovatively like market how a school is located here? Online marketing. And then from 30, we moved on 2018 to about 85 the second year, and third year, we reached about 160 students.
Mm.
And that's like a very big jump in any education institution. And these were the way where I knew how to reach to parents in the locality through offline and online marketing. That's where the interest actually began to be.
So, what was the shift? I mean, what was pivotal right here in this movement?
I think once I knew that we need to reach parents, first thing to tell about what we do, and second is about bringing them to our door. I
Mm.
think that was the big shift for me because when people come to your place, that's your office or your education institutions, that's where they can actually make a decision.
Mm.
And once they came in, we saw like very free flowing, parents started coming in, and I was like, yes, this is what we required. And until 2020, it was all good. Coaching was never in my books.
Correct.
Coaching is something I never thought I would do it because honestly, I was not good at speaking. Okay, so I've recorded videos earlier and I've kept them for my document. But
So
those
I'm going to
videos,
come to that. So I want to understand first that, you were driving in parents to school, which means that, now what you specialize in today, as of I know, this is exactly what you've been able to develop the expertise in. And it
absolutely,
started back then. And what
yes.
was that one, or multiple strategies which were working in 2017 to be able to build in that traffic to come into your school?
2017 was really low cost marketing. I can easily tell you, you just spend 100 rupees a day, 150
Hmm.
rupees a day, click on the boost post, and it would reach so many people around your location.
Oh,
Uh,
that's
the
about it.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's it. Just like we say that admission open and just boost it around that in the age group of this, and people used to come because I didn't know how to run lead generation ads or messenger ads. So people used to look at that. They used to click on that link and they used to either come on a messenger or they used to just inquire with us.
Hmm.
This got us a lot of parents to chat with us, and in turn, we used to call them into the school. I think that was the point where I understood that online marketing was very cheap.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't understand the power of online marketing because to put up a hoarding, we used to spend like 20,000, 30,000, and
Correct.
we used to spend huge money on marketing. And every day I used to spend only 100, 200 rupees here. And I used to have the reach more than offline. I think that was the big difference in 2017, which I see. The competition was lesser and the cost was much lesser than now.
Okay, so you're moving into the space. So if you were aware of a skill that you have developed, Karthik, Is that true that somewhere deep down, it starts trickling down to make you speak about that expertise? And that's exactly what happened to make you a trainer?
Uh, I think, yeah, absolutely. You can speak on a topic without a script if you know it.
Correct.
So this is what a lot of people like worry about. Like they ask me, like, Karthik, how can you speak in front of a camera when you don't know what to speak? So I
Hmm.
think if you know a subject well and you're practicing it by yourself,
Hmm.
because knowing something and just teaching anybody doesn't give you that expertise. When you're implementing this every single day, and right now you ask me anything on marketing, we spend ads every single day. So you ask me any question, you anything comes in, I can speak hours together based on the experiences that we're going through every single day. I
Hmm.
think if you want to like really connect with people on over the skill, I think you just need to teach people what you know and what you practice. That's it.
And that's exactly what you've been doing. So
Absolutely.
2020 is when I know that, you were completely into the space, and we only knew of Karthik Naidu as a marketing automation coach, right? A business
Right.
automation coach. And truly, if honestly, if I was to say, Karthik, I didn't even understand it truly, what it really meant,
Right.
until I attended the very first time a session that you were holding for my pipeline. Okay.
Right.
And I know that my pipeline was somewhere in 2021.
Right.
And I had heard about it multiple times because there were campaigns being run across. But that's the first time I truly, I remember I attended your webinar, and after attending the webinar, I thought it's not rocket science to be able to attract leads. He's just making it sound so easy. I mean, that was my true feeling, the first time that I attended the webinar. So, would you want to elaborate that, how did this shift? And then my pipeline software, which was, truly magical, did it come into place?
Absolutely. Once we started in 2020, so initially, actually, I didn't start with my pipeline. We just got in with the franchising courses. Okay,
Okay.
because I had franchised preschool then. So this niche did not exist. Okay,
Mm,
so I've always loved something that I need to do which doesn't exist. Okay,
mm,
that's my obsession towards business.
mm,
So first thing, even like when the niche list is there and all of that people are following, okay, business coaching and this, I was like, no, I'm going to teach how to franchise.
mm,
Okay, and I started teaching people that I've done my school. I'm going to teach you how to do it. So we had over like 700 brands who joined it in 1 year, and some of them are really big right now, in fact. And I
okay.
started helping them with SOPs and a lot of things on how to structure it and how to scale it. But as I
Amazing.
was teaching this, Gopika, that's when I realized that a lot of businesses are lacking because of SOPs.
Mm,
So they don't have a process to get inquiries. They don't have a process to maintain those inquiries. They don't have a process where they can scale up those leads.
mm, mm,
And that's when I started jumping into understanding what can we do to do it. There were either two ways. One is you build teams and build a business. But this was very old method, which a lot of uh, business people think that I need to build more teams so that I can build a bigger business was yes, true 10, 15 years back. But
correct.
right now, if you want to scale a business, you need systems and automation
Mm,
because these systems are reliable and it works 24 bar 7. So
mm.
I love technology and I adapted it to my business and I started implementing these on the brands who were with me in franchising. And once I saw that it's working magical, one question came to me was like, should I just stick on to a small space like this? Or should I just help every single business owner? It was a tough call. I made a very tough call at that time. I said, I'm stopping franchising, franchise coaching, and I'm going to jump into teaching business owners how to get leads because this is the biggest problem that I can solve for a lot of business owners. And that's where my pipeline came in as a system. And we went ahead. I made it simple. People who could not afford an agency at 50,000 per month, I started telling them, you can learn it yourself and do it because you can do only one thing at a time. It's either hire an agency, get result, or learn it yourself, save money and get result. So if you're
Wow.
getting started, find the second route. And I was there teaching them every single step, how to do it and how easy it can be done. And that was the time where I fell in love with systems automations. And from there, it's never stopped.
Yeah, so but the fact that you said it so easily, but it's much easier said than done that you stopped that entire duration when you were doing franchising and training on the same, and you completely went into developing this as a system in the form of a my pipeline, right? Or
Right.
training people on the same. I mean, was it like because of financially it wasn't becoming so profitable, or was this becoming more of your calling, inner calling? What was the true reason of, this shift?
See, any business needs to scale up in two ways. One is it needs to reach more people,
Yeah.
which is the dream of every business owner. Second is it has to bring you revenue, undoubtedly. I wouldn't say it's only one way, but though franchising was profitable, it was working really well. We had a lot of members in the community, but I knew that the bigger problem was lead generation and system and automation. Since I fell in love with it, I wanted to teach that more, and people started asking me questions more on how to create a page, how to run ads, how to generate leads. And I said that if I'm just doing it partially, there's no justice to it. So I'm going to do it full time. I'm going to tell my own community members, told them, now you're great. You know your structure set up. Now you transition here so that you can get inquiries for your franchise. And then you convert your franchise and make money. And then everyone was were with me. So we said that, okay, let's jump in. And from there, we reached more and more people who wanted to learn on that topic.
Yeah, so but learning on a topic, but you went, many steps further ahead to be able to develop a system as easy as, developing it into like an automation tool that you could use,
Right.
like my pipeline. But you're not a techie person. I mean, you're coming from a different background altogether. So where is that expertise coming in?
See, when we started My Pipeline, we integrated a lot of other systems also. So
Mm.
we went ahead, we picked it up, we put up a brand name, we started promoting it, and people could use it because I didn't know the internal engineering of how a structure can be done. And
Yeah.
once I started doing this for about 1.5 year, now I realized that, okay, it's time to move bigger.
Hmm.
Okay, now I need a complete control of what I can own. Okay,
Yeah.
so the transition of My Pipeline to Searchy came in when I said that, okay, I'm going to build it from scratch, brick by brick, which I can own every piece of code. I
Yeah.
can own every piece of the business. And that was a huge investment to take the transition. I've been always bold in moving quick, Gopika. I've never got scared of revenues falling. I've never got scared thinking that what people will think, because I always believe that if you have the right intention, you want to really genuinely help people, you need to take that bold steps to make it happen. And
Wow.
even when My Pipeline was doing at its peak, I decided that I'm going to build something which is going to be more easier, more affordable, as well as more customized to Indian entrepreneurs. And that is where the shift happened. It's like you're at peak, you're making a lot of money, and to decide to launch something else, which is going to be more lesser priced, more affordable, and more Indianized. Okay, I think that transition was the biggest move of my career, I think I've made.
I think that's brilliant in terms of, how we are joining blocks. And I'm truly for the first time being able to understand that, one's entire life, one is actually only joining the pieces of the puzzle to actually start making sense to what we are doing, from time on. And we realize it's actually only and only possible because of the last effort that we did. As we always say, nothing in life that you've learned really goes waste. I think it completely stands true in your scenario completely, Karthik, right? So tell
Right.
us more about what is it that Searchy is all about?
So when My Pipeline was at its peak, so now I felt like I need to create something. So when I say founder today of Searchy, and it truly means that a product that doesn't exist needs to be created. Okay, and I'm very glad that I was able to get that thought of idea to implement that, because when Searchy thought came into my mind, the first thing I thought about, like, what does business owners lack today in online business? And I felt like the one word, the magical word hit me, was digital shops, because I was doing a lot of research on the future of the business. Because if you see, a lot of companies are moving to metaverse and a lot of things developing in that direction where future is building very quickly. But where our businesses right now is not going to be the same in 10 years. So
Hmm.
can I build a future scale up business that people join in today and still stay in the same model for next 25 years?
Wow.
Now, that was the thought which made me think about Searchy. And I told to myself that I'm going to do this. And
Hmm.
believe me, Gopika, I decided this and I stopped selling My Pipeline for over a year.
Oh my God. It never felt like so.
Yeah, I never promoted the moment I decided I'm going to like build Searchy. The
Hmm.
reason was because my existing members who use My Pipeline are still using it. But I stopped promoting it because I always sell something that I believe in.
Mm.
So once I believed in Searchy, there was no point in just selling something for revenue. So I stopped it completely, zero revenue for over a year. And I started investing my time, thoughts, and everything into Searchy, which is the present future. I can tell you the next 25 years, if I'm doing something for a longer term, that will be Searchy. The
Wow.
reason was about the thought of coming in with a digital shop. I think every business owner, how they have stores in the offline business, because I'm a combination of offline and online.
Mm.
Okay, so for me, online is the second step, but I've been an offline entrepreneur. I
Mm.
know the hard duties of going and promoting, putting flyers, running newspaper ads.
Mm.
All these I understand as a marketing. Now, online is very easy compared to offline marketing. And when I said that, okay, let's form a digital shop, and people can literally sell any products and services with zero commission, not in mercy of any marketplace. They can choose whether they want to get inquiries, they can book appointments, or they can sell their products and services, and they own the whole ecosystem.
Nice.
Now, this was the moment I said that this is what I want to give to people. And we started developing it. We took over like 1.5, 2 years to actually build every single piece. And once we started building it, it was very unpredictable because there is nothing like Searchy that exists today.
Wow.
And it was a first time. When you do it for first time, it's very hard. So a
Mm.
lot of trial errors, logical thinking. So I had my development team who works, and they're like my strength in this entire process. Honestly, they're like my backbone because my thoughts, and they sit and put it together in codes to make it into reality. So
Completely. Yeah.
with a solid team right now, we started building it. And once we built it and we saw the first version of that, in fact, I just said like, I love this.
Mm.
It's not because it's my product, and because I knew that this will solve a lot of problems. And the result of that, just to give you, we launched it in the month of November.
Mm.
Okay, so to just tell you that we just announced that we are launching it, and it was like almost done at that version. And the moment we launched it, we crossed more than 1 crore in revenue in just 3 days.
Wow.
And this was like complete only launch of Searchy.
Yeah, because it's all about creating that interest towards the product that you've developed. And I closely
And the
watched the
trust.
campaign.
I
Absolutely.
need to mention that it's a trust of my community who were looking at what we were building. And
Mm.
the moment they knew it, that was the moment we saw that people jumped in. And I'm so glad that people who jumped in have really built their shops, listed products. And today we have more than 29,000 at this point of time who are joined the Searchy platform,
Amazing.
the live number. So I think in 3 months, the growth has been hyperscale. We've been relentlessly working on fixing few things like taking feedbacks, understanding it, and I'm just creating this for people. Okay, I
Mm.
have nothing to do with it. Only till launching, it was my brain, my
Mm.
thought, but now it is people's product. So what they want, they give me on idea board. We validate it, yes or no. It's good. We start building it, and that's how we've been taking this.
Amazing. And knowing you, Karthik, I know that, once, you are, done with one, I know that something else is already up on your mind that, you're going to start brainstorming already to really find out that what is that one niche problem that you'll be able to solve. So what is really interesting is throughout that I've been able to see that whatever that you've been developing has been an identification of a problem. And very commonly stated in the space specifically for coaching and training is identify that problem. And the moment you're able to do that and develop either a product like a software or a tool or a solution like a service, it can really reach out and be able to make an impact thereby. Now, I'm going to
Oh,
ask something very interesting here, Karthik. I know that Searchy has been up on your sleeves for almost about 2 years. And, there were episodes that I was also getting to hear about the same as well. So I'm
mm,
going to jump on to really understand that during the same time, I know that you were also getting married
mm.
and managing something which was like, completely like a dream come true in terms of the product that you were developing. And of course, getting married to a life partner. How did you manage this work life balance?
Absolutely. A lot of people told me that when I used to do sessions for a very long time, I used to start at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and go to 11:30, 12. They used to tell that Karthik is not married yet. Okay. And they used to say that you get married, you'll get to know. Okay. And I took it positively. But honestly, I must mention this. Uh, I have the most supportive person as a wife. Okay, so her name is Akarshita, and she's amazing, amazing as a person.
Yeah.
And the journey of my best decision that I've taken in my life is her.
Wow.
And I can tell that with 100% confidence of every single point, because the way she knows that how passionate about I'm about work. And till date, even right now when I'm recording this interview, I will not even have one point that comes to me about giving time or saying anything about it. I think
Yeah.
I've been very lucky in that way, to
Hmm.
have a very supportive person to understand right from day one.
Hmm. Hmm.
Let
Hmm.
me tell you that we got married, and I think 2 days later I was in office.
I don't know what to say on that. So I'm going to leave that conversation to Akarshita to really
Right.
find out the truth behind this.
Because
But
she knows the passion what we carry right now, and even right now when we move around, we go around. She knows that I'm on phone, I'm talking to my development team, and we're like continuously on calls, and she's totally like with that zone. So I think having a supportive partner is not about just your choice. I strongly believe that there is something very strong that gets you to that stage, and
hmm,
it's not something that's in my control. But I'm glad that I met a person who really understands the passion,
hmm,
and I have nothing. I have zero pressure. I tell
wow,
people like I have zero pressure in my life, in my personal life, and not even business also. But the point is like that's what allows me to actually think so much, like go out and spend those nights like with developers sitting and working, launching it. So I think your family plays a very very big role in that, and I think the zone of when I got married, I just love that decision what went through, and right now it's like I think I have the best life as of now.
lovely. So nice to hear. But I'm yet to say, and I'm really, really, stopping myself. But I'm going to say that, it's
Right.
still the honeymoon period because you're yet to celebrate the first anniversary yet.
Right.
But yeah, but happier, very, very happy to really hear the fact because it's so
Right.
extremely important to be able to have the right supporting, partner
the
who
the
truly
challenge with
understands.
guys, Gopika, this gets little marriage related, but I'll tell you is I knew from day one I'm not going to set wrong expectation.
Hmm,
Right, so with me, the clarity is something that I have a lot in anything. It's my relationships, it's my family, my mom. We're very very clear. I tell them that this is how it is going to be.
hmm,
So from the day, even since I know we got engaged and we got married, I've never been that person who's just like going out, giving a lot of time, and all of a sudden stepping back and saying that now I got to focus on my work. So I've been the same from day one to now, and it's going to be the same as it is, which has a combination. And I think definitely it's understood, and it's all about trust. I feel like the trust what you take towards a common goal, because what goal I dream of, and if your partner really understands that how interested and how dedicated you're towards reaching that goal, I think that keeps you engaged on the goal rather than worrying on the other things around, which is completely like occupied. And so I think in that way, this destination of like going through that, I'm very excited to go through this journey. So
super.
pretty
And
much.
you'll soon realize that, as we always say, that there's always a woman behind who's constantly giving you suggestions, ideas. And I'm sure that has already started trickling in your life. And we'll be able to hear many more stories
I
probably
had
in.
always my mom doing that from a
Yeah.
long time. So now
Yeah.
right now I think I'm in the right company of everything.
Correct. So I see a lot of clarity with you, Karthik, and me moving into that space, I'd like to find out and be able to, ask a few questions based on that you're very clear when it comes to whether it was taking up your business decisions, right? Whether it was creating your first franchise, whether it was taking
Yeah.
up, closing up, your various streams of training, franchising, closing in or stopping the sales of my pipeline. There has been a lot of decision making, and I see a lot of clarity with the same as well. Now, I know that in our community of speakers, trainers, and coaches, we have a lot of aspiring people, but they
Right.
hang on to their desires. They hang on to what they are doing for a long, long time because they fear getting out of the comfort zone. Would you like to share a piece from your mind that, how do you think that they can become clearer on, whether they should stop or continue? What is it that we can really tell them?
I've heard a lot of people saying that you need to stick on to one and make it work.
Mm,
But I've really not connected myself to that saying. The reason is because your priorities, your expertise, and your life keeps changing. If you
Mm-hmm.
look at any of the successful businessmen around the world, they've always ventured into multiple ventures in their entire career. You speak about Tata, you speak about Mukesh Ambani, you speak about Elon Musk, you speak out. A lot of people have dived deep into multiple different industries to do it. So I feel like if you're stopping yourself just because it's comfortable, your sales are happening, your revenue is coming, and you don't want to disturb the flow, uh, I think you're doing it for money. Okay, it's not wrong. I mean, absolutely everybody works in a job for money. Some of them don't like their job. They work in a job still. They're in a
Mm-hmm.
good position, they earn well, they live it. There's nothing wrong at all about it. There are a lot of business owners who are working in a business, they're running a business because that is taking care of their family, it's taking care of their business and other things. It's pretty fine.
Yeah.
But I think some entrepreneurs have a little bit to do with their uh, think about what they want to really do in life. I think if that is you, you will never stop yourself telling that this is the end, because I can tell you any business could close down anytime.
Yeah.
We've seen topmost business people coming literally to the bottom and rising back to the top. And I think that attitude of handling a business in a good way is not about getting scared about what will happen if I don't do this. It is taking those bold decisions to make it happen, but the only one checklist you need to have is about, is your intention right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing it for good? Are you doing it just for some monetary benefit? I think if you can have a check on that, I think you should not get scared about doing anything that your heart says that you need to do. if
Mm-hmm.
if tomorrow I feel like I want to start up another venture which can really like take care of it and do it, I will still have it. For example, we started White Petals, and today we have more than like 15 branches at this point of time, and we're empowering entrepreneurs in education to start their school, run it successfully. I built my own team, so that's not closed, it's still active, it's running, and we've impacted thousands of students. But at the same time, I love doing helping business owners get this result is equally the time where I'm putting in my time to build this.
Yeah.
And once we're good with this, and tomorrow something comes with business owners we can help, I think we need to like think about venturing into it. So my one of the inspiration is about Elon Musk, like how he builds his own business ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at it, I think underlying somewhere I have that thought when it comes to business, because he built his company from PayPal, he sold it, and then he started building his Tesla. And after Tesla was working, then he built Solar City.
Yeah.
So if you look at Solar City was like power generation, and his cars were electric. It's connected. And later he went on to build the internet for the across the world, the Starlink. And after he started building that, that was connectivity between everything. Now
Mm-hmm.
he's built a space company to reach Mars, and he's building boring company to make transportation faster. And he's the richest man in the world. So we have no reasons to think that we need to stick on to only one thing to make it really big.
Well said.
I
Yeah.
think as long as you know what you're doing, as long as it's you're creating your own ecosystem where everything is like interdependent, interconnected. For me, it's like my school education system runs based on Searchy right now.
Mhm.
Our entire accounting system, our sales, our admissions, everything is taken care with this. So it's a connected business which is always taking care of it, and as well as it's helping other people. So as long as this comes an other third puzzle, I would not stop myself from building that. I would
Hmm.
always do it.
Wow, that was absolutely really, really well shared. Because that's a question that, people really struggle with, which is to once they have started, it's like your own baby and you can't really part away with it. And that's where you find it difficult to juggle your time between multiple things. So well shared, So what would be that one little thing that you'd like to speak to everyone here? And this message is for everybody who always wants to venture into the space of becoming a leader, right? But they doubt themselves. And the doubt is coming sometimes from their own self inhibitions, but a lot also dependent on the environment, right, Karthik? And
Right.
actually, we all go through it. But how would you want to say this as a message to anybody if you were given this choice?
If you want to be a leader, you need to know everything from grassroots. And this is what a lot of business owners, bosses miss out sometimes. Because if you want to run a restaurant, you need to get into the kitchen.
Hmm.
If you want to run a software company, you should know how to handle the back end. If you want to run any other business, you need to know every part of your business to work. And that is what makes you a leader than a boss.
Mm.
Because leader is a person who can handle teams, train them in every department throughout. You speak about accounting, you speak about sales, you speak about marketing, you speak about operations, you speak about your telecalling team, your support team. You need to have knowledge about every single thing to really get into the leader position, at least in a small business. Because once an enterprise company works, then it works differently. You hire leaders to run the show. But as a small business owner, what I've understood is, if you want to step in where your employees will look up to you, is only because you know the work.
Wow.
And if you just own the business, they're just going to think that that's my boss. But when you know the work, they treat you like, okay, he's leading the team. So I think that's a big difference.
Wow, absolutely. Fabulous, fabulous time conversing with you on the different aspects of entrepreneurship, leadership, different paths and milestones that you've created for yourself, Karthik. I think it was absolutely wonderful interacting with you. And I do hope that, a whole lot of us who've been able to hear this video out as well will be able to create their journey, taking up inspiration from various milestones that you've created. So, once again, thank you so much, Karthik, for joining in today for this very session. We'll be connecting with you very soon. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you.